Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Jae Hitson, and today I was supposed to talk about cardio, but instead I threw out the script. What I'm going to share, I really hope you hear, because if you're stuck, you're frustrated, and you're exhausted from doing all the things and still not seeing results, this might be the message that finally breaks through. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome. So this is part 5 of the Fat Loss Over 40 series. And let me tell you, I'm going to be taking part 5 in a completely different direction than what I had anticipated. Because here's the truth, I hate talking about weight loss. And you want to know why I hate talking about weight loss? It's because I know every time I do, I'm holding back. I'm not saying what I really want to say. And this week I'm supposed to talk about cardio. I really hate talking about cardio. See, I know what the real problem is. And I know how to fix it, but I hate talking about the real solution because it's not the one that the general population is willing to hear. I mean, I am literally going to say the words. I am going to give you the solution, and the majority of the people who listen to this, they will not hear it. And if I can be honest, it's kind of frustrating. But I woke up this morning. By the way, today is my birthday. Maybe it's because on your birthday, you get to be more me. But either way, I tossed the script. Cardio is supposed to be the topic. It's at the top of the pyramid. It's at the top of that pyramid because it is the least important of the different factors that contribute to fat loss after 40. It's not important, but it's the least important. And here's the thing, so many of you who follow me, you're in similar generations as I am, and we imprinted hard during the 80s. I mean, 80s is where cardio became a celebrity. Every time I talk to somebody about weight loss, they're always referring to the kind of cardio that they do. What is even worse right now is that because of like the 10,000 steps a day movement, people aren't even doing like the intense cardio that really gets their heart rate up. Now they're just moving, which doesn't get them into fat burning zone, doesn't get their heart rate up, and it doesn't even really qualify as cardio. I mean, so many of you have your Fitbits or your tracker apps, and you've been at this, how many thousand steps a day, and you're not seeing any different results. I mean, we're back to the definition of insanity. I really just don't want to talk about this anymore. So what is the answer? Well, I am going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you at the end, because maybe, just maybe, you'll actually hear me. So when I'm getting into the answer, number one, you have to accept that you are physiologically capable of releasing fat. You are physiologically capable of losing weight. And we know this because you probably have done it before. I'm not necessarily saying you did it in healthy ways, but you know that your body does release fat in certain circumstances. It is not impossible. I mean, and we fundamentally already know that this is true. I mean, when you look at individuals who are in like war-torn countries, when you see that video footage, you don't see a whole lot of people who are morbidly obese. Their resources are low, their food supplies are down, and for the most part, when you look at the spectrum, you're not seeing a whole lot of people who are overweight. The body does release fat in a deficit. And furthermore, people who have just different lifestyles than we do, they also don't have issues with morbid obesity. I've had the pleasure of going to Europe a few times now, and it is actually very rare to see massively overweight individuals, even in countries like Italy, who are known for all of their wonderful pastas and pizzas and all of those beautiful carbohydrates. The first time we were walking down the Italian streets and I'm just looking around, and for the most part, this culture is able to maintain a relatively ideal body weight. And then I saw somebody who was coming down the opposite way who was in that category of morbidly obese. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, there's an outlier. But then I heard the conversation as they were passing and I'm like, oh, no, that's an American. Go figure, right? It's just so rare to see it in a lot of these overseas countries. My whole point is that we can't keep blaming our lineage. I'm obviously of a European descent, but even those of you who are descendants of other continents, you go back to those regions and a lot of those people are able to maintain a relatively ideal body fat. So what's happening to us here? Why is it such an epidemic in the States and some of the other more westernized regions of this world? Before we get into that though, let's talk about a small group. These are the individuals who have pretty much always been very skinny their entire lives with little to no effort. But then you got to a certain age and your margin for error, it narrowed. And you gained somewhere around 10, 15, 20 pounds, 30 pounds maybe. Okay, typically you fit into a different category. And honestly, you need to look at that weight gain more as a blessing because what was happening before is you were just kind of getting away with having a poor diet, poor lifestyle, not enough exercise. And frankly, those were habits that were not going to serve you in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So what your body's doing is it's giving you feedback. It's telling you, no, it's time. We need better resources. We need to fuel more properly, and we need to keep up with our strength. So if you fit into that category, do the things that we talked about already in parts 1 through 4. You will see that weight shift. And frankly, the version of you 5 years from now is really going to thank you for having made these changes. Now, if you also give me just a moment of grace to have a bit of a rant on some of this movement of big is beautiful. Now, I am not disagreeing with you are beautiful at any size. What I'm not in agreement with is this subcontext that you're okay. Because we know being overweight has serious health consequences. So yes, you're still beautiful, but you're not healthy. And I take real issue with them coming online and trying to make people feel like they don't need to make change. And some will go as far to say, I am healthy even though I'm significantly overweight. Well, healthy by what standard? Because, frankly, the person who this panel came from, this person thought that they were healthy. This person had a clean bill of health from their last annual physical. I want to be clear that I'm very much for accepting yourself no matter what size you are, no matter what reflection you have in the mirror. You need to have that own self-love. But at the same time, we need to be working towards the goals that align with your ideal self. Now, the group I do want to be talking to right now, you are the individuals who your entire adult life, weight has at least been on your mind. You've had to pay attention. You've been watching it. I would go as far to say it's been a focal point. And then for some of you, it has been a full-on battle, and we can address that as well. But the group I'm really talking to, you are at the point where you feel like you've lost the ability to keep it under control now. And it's triggering all of these different emotions, just shame, grief over the person that you know you're supposed to be, feeling guilty because you feel like you done this to yourself. It's getting scary. You don't like the image that you're seeing in the mirror. You don't like the image that you're seeing in the various pictures and social media that you're on. You're getting angry that this is happening, even jealous of those who don't seem to have this struggle. You're doing all the things, but you feel like you're not getting anywhere, and it's starting to get hopeless. Is this you? Am I talking to you? Are you ready to really hear me? Because here's the thing, I have been on this roller coaster ride with far too many people now. And frankly, it's a ride I don't want to keep getting on with people. I know how people, once and for all, get off of the roller coaster. Are you really ready to hear how they do it? See, the thing is, you already know how to do it. You know there are things that you should do or could do, or things that you shouldn't, but you're not. You're not doing what you already know. You do make progress, but then you have a way of slipping back. Of course, there's always excuses and circumstances. I mean, heck, sometimes I get on the phone with people and they're still blaming COVID. That was years ago. And here's the real issue. It's just getting harder and harder to do because with each and every effort, you're just reminded of all the failures. And honestly, you're not sure if you can get let down one more time. You're really not sure if you can get your hopes up one more time and experience another failure. And maybe by this point, life has so worn you down, you have years and years of track record saying you can't do this. So basically, unless somebody has something that is so easy to do, take for instance an injection that's going to make you skinny, you're really not even willing to listen to one more thing. Is this you? Am I talking to you? See, the problem isn't that magic diet or drug or injection that you haven't found yet. You've done the research, you know. Here is what the people who have successfully lost weight and kept it off for years, here's what they've done. Here's what they have done that others don't do. They have addressed the subconscious program that has been holding them back their entire adult life. Now, sometimes they have done this on purpose. More often, they've stumbled upon it through a life circumstance or a massive epiphany. Either way, they've rewired, they've recoded, and have created a completely new subconscious pattern. I mean, we've all seen this. The person who smoked for years and then just one day put the cigarettes down, never picked them up again. We've all seen that person who had been drinking for years and then one day stopped cold turkey and never went back. I guarantee you have that friend or family member who has been in one disastrous relationship after another, and then all of a sudden turns the corner and they find happiness. Self-sabotage patterns are real. Most of us have at least one. Not everybody uses their weight to trigger their subconscious, but let's face it, if you've made it this far into this video, you're likely in that category. And again, weight is probably not the only area where you are triggering your subconscious. Most people who are in this category are usually also seeing either dynamics with money or their families. They're notorious for overworking, overstressing. Anxiety and depression have almost become pure coping mechanisms. They're notorious for taking care of everyone else and abandoning their own needs. Or they just keep moving and just push themselves to pure exhaustion. All of these things and more are really symptoms of the same root cause. And frankly, trying to address the symptoms but not the root, the core, well, that's kind of the epidemic of our entire society. Now, in my experience, I've seen most people who cure this, it's happened with a sudden and dramatic life event. And it's usually not a happy one, where that individual is forced to confront the core of who they are. And once they've dealt with that, they've reemerged with a completely different pattern. But to be honest, I really don't want to sign up for a dramatic life event in order to make change, and probably neither do you. I would rather not have life knock me down. Luckily, we don't have to have a cataclysmic event in order to break the cycle. There's enough research, enough case studies. We can see the clear path, even if it's one that's not traveled often. So from a practical standpoint, how do you do this? So number one, you do need to make sure that you are healthy enough to actually lose the fat, lose the weight. I use things like the blood analysis to determine this. Frankly, you do need to deal with your biomarkers first before you try to go down this entire journey. Number two, you do need to go through the fundamentals, what I cover in parts 1 through 4. Because no matter what patterns we are working through, fundamentally, this is going to be the core of a healthy lifestyle. And then number 3, we work on the neuroplasticity. We recode. We create the new patterns, both subconscious and conscious. Now, this is a process that I have been studying for decades with really great success. But the problems that I've run into is that at the core of my philosophy, I really believe in keeping it simple. And a lot of the research into neuroplasticity and subconscious reprogramming, well, up to this point, it's been really anything but simple. It has taken me years to refine this process. But I really do want to start helping more and more people save themselves from a crisis-induced conversion and walk themselves out of these destructive patterns under a lot less duress. Now, in the description, I've included a link so you can learn more about what I'm talking about. Frankly, I didn't wake up today thinking this is what I was going to talk about. I was really planning on talking about something simple, easy, and as mundane as cardio. But here we are. I just couldn't do another message just going through the motions. Because I know what the answer is, and deep down, so do you. So if you felt like this message was for you, then encourage me to talk about it more. I've really felt like it's all falling on deaf ears. But if it's not, let me know. Because at my core, this is all about getting results for you. And I appreciate you letting me share today. Well, if you're still listening, then you're my people. You're not looking for another 5 steps to a better you. You're looking for lasting change, the kind that rewires your biology and reprograms your body so that health becomes automatic. And if you want to take the next step, head over to GoodDoctors.Health, get your biodata analyzed, and see what your body's been trying to tell you. If you want to know more about BioRecode, click the link included, because we are here for real transformation. See you next episode.